This live stream is a copyright of the Tiger Sports Livestream Network. Reproduction or distribution of this live stream without permission of the Tiger Sports Livestream Network is a violation of the law.
Good evening and welcome to Grinnell Tiger Wrestling, girls swimming and diving here at the Grinnell Natatorium. I'm Dan Walker with the Tiger Sports Livestream Network. I'll have Tim Hammond joining me here shortly for your, I guess you'd say, play-by-play commentary of what's going on for the evening. But tonight we welcome the Boone Toreadors and Williamsburg Raiders and the Vinton Shellsburg Vikings for our first swim meet of the year on the Grinnell Tiger Sports Livestream Network. We're going to hear a word from our sponsors, and then we'll be back in about 7 minutes and go over a little bit more of what the activities are for the night. You've been watching Girls Swimming and Diving on the Tiger Sports Livestream Network.
It's more than just a game, it's a tradition, a community. Every Friday night tradition deserves a homemade favorite, Polly-I's Pizza. Stop in on 5th Ave in downtown Grinnell or order online at pollyi'sgrinnellia.com. Go Tigers!
Home. It's more than a place. It's where your next chapter begins. At RE/MAX Partners Realty, our experienced Grinnell team is committed to helping you buy, sell, and invest with confidence. From first-time home buyers to commercial properties, everything in between. We're with you every step of the way. Grinnell owned, Grinnell operated by Grinnell agents. RE/MAX Partners Realty, here to be your trusted real estate asset.
At Grinnell Motors, we care about more than just selling vehicles. We care about the people who drive them. You'll feel it in the way that we listen, keep it transparent, and show up for our community like neighbors should.
We care about doing business the right way.
We care about taking care of you after the sale.
We care about service you can trust.
We care about fixing it right the first time.
We care about keeping business local.
We care you will feel the difference.
When change and uncertainty define the times, it's good to anchor to your roots, to honor and nurture them, to remember how it all started, and let that help build the future. Because we know a strong future is built on a solid past, and that past promises mean future follow-through. You can trust us to protect what you grow, build, own, and value. Trust in tomorrow with Grinnell Mutual.
Weldon Drywall is your local drywall professional, serving a 70-mile perimeter around Iowa City. They provide services to commercial builders, general contractors, and residential homeowners. Projects can include commercial build-outs, new construction for multi-family and residential homes, to remodeling projects such as your new addition to basement drywall projects, even down to the simplest 2x2 patch in your wall. Weldon Drywall is here for you. Check out our website at weldon-drywall.com and fill out our contact form for your free estimate today.
At Ramsey Weeks Insurance and Ramsey Weeks Real Estate, we know that the Tigers have a game plan every time they take the field or court. And at Ramsey Weeks, we have a plan for you too. Check out our website at ramseyweeks.com to get started. You can find all your insurance needs from residential to commercial, and if it is real estate you are looking for, you are one click away in the top menu. Here you can browse our residential and commercial listings. Don't forget, let Ramsey Weeks create a game plan for your new insurance or real estate purchase. Go Tigers!
This is a story about signs. It's also a story about people's experiences. The humble sign. They are everywhere. But signs are more than just a plaque on the wall, an arrow, or letters on a building exterior. Signs help you leave a legacy or start a new chapter in life. All those signs have to start somewhere, and that's where we come in. We are your trusted partner in everything signage and graphics.
At Mayflower Community, we offer a full continuum of care, from independent living in our beautiful historic neighborhood to assisted living, memory care assisted living, and skilled nursing care that meets you exactly where you are. But life here is about the experience. Whether it's enjoying a meal with friends in one of our dining spaces, staying active in the wellness center, or exploring our walking paths, there is always a way to connect. Come see why Mayflower is more than a residence. It's a community.
At MCG, we know the internet industry is viewed as, at best, slightly above terrible and at worst, complete. Sorry about the language, but look, MCG wants to change this. So we offer crazy fast internet at crazy low prices. No hidden fees, no fine print, and no intro pricing. Get 1 gig internet for just $67 a month or 2 gig for $99. And it's all backed by a local team who answers the phone when you call. So don't wait, dump your provider now and switch to MCG internet at mahaska.org.
When something goes wrong at home or on the job, who do you call? Charmer Inc. has you covered, from plumbing, heating and cooling, and electrical to water conditioners, generators, septic systems, radon, digging and trenching. With experienced professionals and a team ready to tackle the job, Charmweber's is your local source for keeping your home, farm, and business running right. Local, experienced, and ready to help. Call us today, 1-800-542-7980.
At B3 Technology in Grinnell, we make IT simple. Our team provides reliable managed IT services, cloud solutions, data backup, and network security so your home or business runs smoothly every day. With big city technology and small town customer service, B3 Technology has been helping Central Iowa stay connected and protected for decades. Call B3 Technology today at 641-236-9296 or visit b3tech.com.
Hey Tiger fans, Colton here at Wagon Wheels West in Grinnell, and today's game day boot is this men's Twisted X boot. This boot is going to be super comfortable with that self-stretch technology while also being greatly durable if you have to go and work in the yard or you're out on the job all day. This is going to be the boot for you. But don't get it twisted. This boot is going to look wonderful under a nice pair of blue jeans if you got to go out on the town. And stop in, try it, and good luck, Tigers.
Grinnell Booster Club supports all Tiger athletics from the middle school all the way up to the high school through fundraising, membership drives, concession stand revenues at all the home events. There are many different ways you can get involved. One, through membership levels from a single, a family, even into the business. There are many attractive levels that you can be a part of this wonderful club. Your membership funds help support uniforms, warm-ups, summer speed camps, baseball and softball batting cages, and the list goes on. You want to be a part of a great group? Join the Grinnell Booster Club today. Welcome back to the Tiger Sports Livestream Network. Grinnell girls swimming and diving is on the docket here at the Grinnell Natatorium, and as I mentioned earlier, we are hosting the Boone Toreadors, Williamsburg Raiders, and the Benton Shellsburg Vikings for tonight's activities. They'll be made up of swimming and diving, and shortly I'm supposed to be having Tim Hammond join me as kind of a fill in the blanks as we go through the evening. But just a start here, let's give a thank you to those sponsors that are putting this whole thing together for us so you can be watching it for free. Shout out to Poly Ice Pizza, Remax Partners Realty, Grinnell Motors, Grinnell Mutual, Weldon Drywall, Ramsey Weeks Insurance and Ramsey Weeks Real Estate, Latitude Signage and Design, Mayflower Community Homes, Mahaska Communications Group, Sharn Weber's, B3 Technology, Wagon Wheels West, Prairie Lakes Church, the Grinnell Booster Club, Grinnell Firestone, Corey Hall Photography, S&S Electric, Van Tomey Concrete and Landscaping, and last of all is we have the Strand Theater, which we'll go ahead and we'll talk about that right now. So coming up on what's playing right now is Coyote versus Acme, which is a fun cartoon of Wile E. Coyote finally trying to get his way in the system. The Dog Stars was rated R, and Indigenous Out for Further. So those are our Strand Theater showings that are going on. So I encourage everyone to go ahead and head up to the Strand this weekend or this evening, or if you're looking for a cool place. Popcorn's always hot and buttery, and they got nice cool refreshments, and the seats are always very comfortable. So go ahead and partner in the Strand Theater downtown Grinnell. Also give a shout out to all those sponsors. If you're in those businesses, go ahead and just say, hey, we saw you in the Tiger Sports Livestream Network, and thank you. You will notice that some of the new commercials that are going out there, they got QR codes on the bottom right-hand corner. So that'll give you a direct link to help you get to their website a little bit faster as we make it through the night. And then also down on the left-hand side, you'll see their business cards flashing, so it kind of gives you a reminder. If you're looking, want to find more, just go to tigersln.com. We have a sponsors page on the top toolbar, and you can click on that, and that gives you quick links to all those sponsors, why we're making it through the evening. So As we start this evening out, as I said, girls diving and swimming, but we'll start with the girls 200-yard medley. That'll be our event 1. Event 2 will be girls 200-yard freestyle. Event 3 would be the 200 yards or the medley, and we'll do that as varsity, and then there will be a girls 50-yard freestyle varsity, and then we'll switch to, actually there's 5 heats of that, and then after event 5 we'll go into our girls 1-meter diving and go through those. Looks like we have 4 people that are diving, 2 from Boone and 2 from Grinnell, and then we'll jump back off. We'll take breaks in between those, so there'll be 2 scheduled breaks in between the first set of swimming, and then we'll go to diving so we can switch everything over our cameras, and then we'll come back after the diving, take a short break, and then we'll go back into the last part of the evening, which would be the girls 100-yard butterfly, girls 500-yard freestyle, the 200-yard freestyle, and some of these we have varsity and junior varsity going. 100-yard backstroke varsity, 100-yard breaststroke varsity, and then the 400-yard freestyle will kind of start to finish things up for the evening. So typically on the docket, it's about an hour and 50-minute, 2-hour run, since we have 3 teams here. We will shortly here, we're getting ready to switch over to our main PA speaker, and he'll get us through the opening ceremonies as they're getting things ready to go. So thank you again for joining us on the Tiger Sports Live Stream Network. This is girls swimming and diving on September 1st, first day of September, and it feels like it's the first day of July outside, and it's nice and humid inside here in the Grinnell Natatorium also. So we're going to sit back, and I'll flip the main microphone on as soon as they're ready to get their program started. just to give everybody a little update, they're trying to get the starter actually working. So on every one of the foot pads, there's timers that release and they kick off the foot pad, and then touchpad, and that's what starts things up. So it catches a timer. So I think they're going to switch things over and maybe do it manually, but hopefully we're going to be switching over to our PA announcer. All right, I'm going to switch it back over to our PA announcer. All right, welcome back. And we just told that they do have the timing system working. So after a valid restart, everything came back online. So I also have Tim Hammond joins me. We can't say we're in the booth. We're more like up in the top center of the natatorium, but Still, we have one of the better views of most people sitting here watching tonight.
Yeah. Anybody that's been to a swim meet knows how warm it is up here.
It is.
Any spectators?
It
The,
would be nice.
the swimmers are a little warm, but
It'd
it's
be
a little
nice
cooler.
if that was just like a window and we could sit in the air conditioning.
Right, yeah.
But, well, as I mentioned earlier, it looks like the schedule has changed a little bit for who is here. So teams that are swimming tonight Grinnell is hosting Williamsburg, Oskaloosa, Centerville, and Boone are the swimming. So no Vinton, Shellsburg. When we made the schedule out a week ago, they must have had an addition or somebody fall out and they put somebody into place, and that is all good. But I just wanted to recognize the teams that are here, and it's a full house.
Yeah. It's always risky to predict outcomes, but I guess that's what I'm here to do is commentate, right? And so so there has been, aside from just the teams that are here, there is actually one other difference amongst these teams, and that is Boone has all of Perry's swimmers this year. Perry High School isn't going to have a team, and as is common in swimming, in high school swimming in Iowa, sometimes towns that don't have a team travel to other towns to swim with their teams. And so while in the past, historically, in recent years, Boone has outswam Grinnell, it tends to be a contest each year. But with Perry's swimmers coming over to swim with Boone, I expect that they will be pretty strong tonight. What's interesting is in past years at this meet, the first meet of the year or one of the earliest meets of the year, Boone has outswam Grinnell when it comes to points. However, when it has come to the state meet, oftentimes Grinnell has outplaced Boone at the state meet.
We're going to go ahead and switch back over our PA because, as I mentioned, it was not working last year, but it's working this year. So,
coached by Chris Mann and Megan Arlen. The Centerville Big Reds, coached by Amber White. The Oskaloosa Indians, coached by Rachel Brown. The Williamsburg Raiders, coached by Mindy Weber. And now, please welcome your Grinnell BGM, Baxter, Bears, Tigers, Bolts, coached by Jordan Huff, Paula Thompson, and Sarah Smith, captained by your seniors, Lucy Lindbergh, Paige Miller, and Kylie Zilstra. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as you are able and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. Following event 1, girls 200-yard medley relay.
So this first heat is only going to have Boone High School swimmers in it. The 200 medley relay, as you heard. So as I've gone through the heat sheet, based on some standout swimmers from last year's season, in particular at the state meet, it seems that Boone has shifted some people that aren't in necessarily, based on last year's results, their prime events. But like I said, they're probably going to be pretty strong relative to the other teams of this meet, so that would be a sensible thing for them to do at the beginning of the season. Have some girls try events that they aren't necessarily always swimming in the past, to see how they could fare and how the team could play out. Especially bringing in new swimmers to a team. They could put together some really strong relays at the state meet this year because of those Perry swimmers coming into Boone. Another athlete at this meet who we might want to be looking forward to watching is a first year on Grinnell's team, Avery Bohonek, who I know will be swimming the 100 breast, which is probably one of her best strokes based on what I've seen in the past. But it also looks like she's in the 200 IM, which is IM's a common event for breaststrokers. So we're going to see 4 swimmers, each do a 50, so down and back each swimmer. And the person on the blocks can't leave the block until the person coming in touches the wall.
And if you're curious on lanes and scoring up there, you'll see in the top right-hand corner our Baker Sterrett scoreboard, so that they're in lane 4, 5, and 6. And when we switch to the swims, you can see right down the middle, you see the coordinated lanes, so they kind of match up.
So in the medley relay, we go back, breast, fly, free in order. And in a few events, not a few heats, but a few events, we will see the individual medley, which is just one swimmer doing all 4 strokes, and they go fly, back, breast, free. For people who don't watch swimming enough, know what's going to be going on. So as they're coming in, we're going to see an exchange. Into breaststroke. So the first heat in this meet tends to be the slower of the heats, and so they get faster as we go through the heats. For instance, in the 50 freestyle, we'll have 5 heats. Here in this event, we're only going to have 2. And everybody, according to the heat sheet at this meet, everybody who is not in the last heat, and actually some people who are in the last heat at times, will almost everybody, I guess it's seeded by fastest. So the last heat is the fastest, the next heat is the next fastest, and so there will be some exhibition swimmers, and they're probably being entered. Seems that they're allowed to be entered in exhibition in an event more than what their allotted count is.
So really, for the swim coach, it just allows them to see what they're capable, what they could do, and where they could fill in blanks later in the season.
That's exactly right.
Okay, now I got all my lanes lined back up there. So, and I'll tell you, as the evening goes, we have to color adjust because the sunlight goes away from what's coming in the far side of the natural lighting, and they'll turn the lights up on the pool. So we'll see the pool have about 4 or 5 different colors as the evening goes. But right now, you're looking at it and you're saying, gosh, why is everything yellow? Well, it's the way the lights are right now. They have kind of a yellowish cast in here. So
the sun comes through the windows on the west side of the building, and natural light's nice, but yeah, it does give us that yellow tinge.
But one thing that we made a change from last year, so we made the investment. Last year when we watched, you could only see a partial side of the pool. So we made the investment in a wide angle lens.
Nice.
So now we could see the whole swimming pool all the way around.
So in this heat, Grinnell and Oskaloosa are the top 2 seeded relays, and I imagine Boone has spread their swimmers out throughout their heat relays.
In lane 1 from Oskaloosa, Tack, Flynn, Walker, Lefevre. In lane 2 from Centerville, Sturts, Whitney, Paloma, In lane 3 from Boone, Fox, Carlois, Burkhart, and Houston. In lane 4 from Grinnell, Camp, Loud, Rundall, and Zylstra. In lane 5 from Grinnell, Big Bahonic, Lindbergh, and C. In lane 6 from Oskaloosa, Morrison, Sizzle, Ross, and Quinn. In lane 7 from Boone, Hughes, Houston, Gut, and Another. In lane 8 from Williamsburg, Rindiero, Citra, Ballant, and O'Connell Gabriel. In lane 9 from Williamsburg, Karagagova, Wilkinson, Windauer, and Reckhammer. And in lane 10, from Boone, Hernandez, Wright, Ruck, and Griffiths.
So as we saw in the last heat, an important thing about butterfly, especially from the girls that are early in their swimming career, is that throughout the whole stroke, throughout the whole race that they're doing butterfly, their hands have to recover over the water. And some of them that are newer, as they get tired, they might not recover, but pretty much everybody will. It's just something that is important. And another notation, right at the beginning of this race, Ruby was the leadoff in backstroke for the Tigers, and from my recollection, that was a real standout performance. I didn't see her time to compare it to last year, if I even would have remembered it, but that was a strong backstroke swim for her, it seemed like. And Grinnell is leading by a lot. Then Oskaloosa, and then it looks like Boone is coming in third. But
so Tim, give a little explanation on the Honor Baker Starrett scoreboard up there. The far time is the overall running time. The second time in is the score that was last swim or the current swimming.
So when the person touches the wall, that is their split. Okay. So there's time for
their
the
splits
swim
are all showing up. That's the last swimmer right there.
Yep, exactly.
And then that stops the overall heat clock.
Exactly.
And normally, this is the first swim meet that I've done that we have someone swimming in lane 10. So
there's a lot of people here today.
In the past, we never had a swimming in lane 10. So the one lane below 9, of course, that is 10 for those who are watching.
And then to be clear, inside of the so we have the split times. Then to the left of that is what school they're swimming for, and then to the left of that is the place that they finished in. And then far to the left is the lanes.
Event 2, girls, 200-yard freestyle. Heat 1 of 2. Mr. Starter.
So this is 8 lengths of the pool, the 200 freestyle. Lane 5 was having part of their block put back on the block so that they can have a stronger start. They probably brought it down so that relays didn't have to step over it in their takeoffs.
In lane 4 from Centerville, Adeline Swaby. In lane 5 from Williamsburg, Aria State. And in lane 6, swimming for Oskaloosa, Addie Johnson.
So these girls have been entered into the meet with no time, and that'll be pretty common in the early heats of most of the meet. And that's an indication that they are either totally new to swimming, or they just haven't swam this event before, or I assume that coaches would have been allowed to enter them at no time, just because they weren't confident that about what their seed time should have been. So while we have some time in this event, it'll go close to 3 minutes for all of the finishers. Um, what we want to see in most swimming events, including this one, is their first split, being that they have the start, the first 50 is going to be faster than the others. And then their last 50 ideally will be as fast, if not the fastest, of the ones other than the first 50, because you're just giving everything you got till the end, that last 50.
And you said 8 lengths, so a length is up and back, or up is a length, the back is a length?
Up is a length, up and back is a lap.
Okay.
That being said, it's very normal in the swimming community to say that this event is 8 laps.
Okay.
It's technically 8 lengths, 4 laps, but you would hear often enough that it's 8 laps. And that what that comes from is in meters swimming, pools can be 25 meters or 50 meters. And in a 50-meter pool, a lap is just down the pool once. In a 25-meter pool, a lap is down and back. There's our first finisher in 2:26.92. So in this next heat, in lane 5 from Boone is Avery Howie. And I'm pretty sure Avery swam backstroke and the 50 at state last year.
Event 2, girls, 200-yard freestyle, B2 of 2, Mr. Starter. In lane 1, from Williamsburg, Brooklyn, Bella. In lane 2, from Grinnell, Peyton Manak. In lane 3, from Oskaloosa, Nora Lake. 4, from Boone, Claire and Abby. In lane 5, from Boone, Avery Howie. In lane 6, swimming from Boone, Mackenzie Clapp. In lane 7, from Grinnell, Peyton Zylstra. In lane 8, from Williamsburg, Shiloh Smith. And in lane 9, from Oskaloosa, Ruby Prendergast.
Peyton's going to give Avery a run. Two more laps.
Now, in swimming, since there's not really a lot of teams per se in conference, is there anything that says there is conference swimming, or all these girls are just, it's a battle to the end for state competition?
No, so there's a conference, and then there's regionals. So regionals is where the qualifying for the state meet happens. Conference is, just in a sense conference play, so you know who you're most competitive with in your conference. And then so after regionals, then there's state. And last year at regionals, Boone came out slightly ahead of Grinnell, and then Oski was behind them. The other two teams here weren't in that conference meet, I don't think, or in that regional meet, I don't think. But I could have not remembered that correctly. But I think they were below Oski if they were. But like I was saying maybe earlier, I think, about the state meet, that while at regionals, Boone outswam Grinnell, at the state meet, Grinnell outscored Oski and Boone by a lot. Oski actually outscored Boone at the state meet by 1 point. And Boone got 0 points at the meet last year. So, it's depth can make a huge difference. And at state, you might not have that depth. Or you might, and then it matters. So Howie, a returning state swimmer from Boone, won that race against one of her teammates by 6 and some seconds. Pretty strong finish. And now we have the 200 IM next.
Girls 200-yard individual medley, heat 1 of 1, Mr. Starter.
So here in lane 5, we have Avery Bohunek, a first year who is actually coming from outside of Grinnell to swim for Grinnell. Interestingly,
From Williamsburg, Maddie Wilkinson. In lane 2, from Grinnell, Natalie Zinstra. In lane 3, from Boone, Lucy Inabin. In lane 4, from Oskaloosa, Jolie Suzzle. In lane 5, from Grinnell, Avery Bahanen. In lane 6, from Boone, Quinn Houston. In lane 7, from Boone, Finley Hauser. In lane 8, from Oskaloosa, Lily Lefevre. And in lane 9, from Williamsburg, Kylie O'Connell Gabriel.
Avery, a first-year swimmer, and I know I keep saying that, but I think it's notable, is leading the field by a good margin, and she is a breaststroker, so we can expect that she will continue to hold this sort of lead, probably, if maybe grow it, unless lane 6 is a strong breaststroker, which I don't remember seeing that, but we're going to find out right here.
So she's a first year as a freshman.
Yep,
grader.
exactly. Yep. But she has been a club swimmer for a number of years now, so quite a bit of experience relative to many swimmers coming into Grinnell who might have swam with the Tiger Sharks in Grinnell, or they have had rec swimming in Brooklyn at times, or those Brooklyn swimmers might be swimming in Grinnell for the Tiger Sharks at times. But a lot of the girls that come into high school swimming in Grinnell and many other towns and high schools in Iowa, they may not have swam at all competitively before joining the swim team in high school. Or maybe they did for 1 or 2 years when they were little or something like that.
Avery had quite the turnaround there. She gained almost 2 lengths on that once she took off the wall there.
Yeah, she is swimming well. And this is, from my research, I don't think it's one of her prime events, but clearly somewhere where she can make an impact. Gained a whole nother second off of her competitor that took second.
Boone definitely came in strong of, the second, third, fifth.
Yeah.
So point scoring wise.
And that's where
fills that margin up a little bit, as you talked about earlier.
It does. A team with depth can outswim a team with a couple stars. And I'm not saying that's what we're seeing here tonight, but it's just a notable thing in swimming.
Right. I forgot to mention earlier that this session of swimming is brought to you by Key Co-op. Supposed to have their own little thing that pops up here, if I could find it for you. Maybe not. Anyway, it's brought to you by Key Co-op. I'll find the...
Event 4, girls 50-yard freestyle, heat 1 of 5, Mr. Starter.
So this is Boone and Centerville.
Hold, swimmers.
Well, we're going to take a little break here. The official needs to talk to the timing system. The meet management room. If anybody ever has interest that's listening in, swimming is always in need of officials. Go out and become a USA official, a high school official, a college official, YMCA, whatever.
In lane 4 from Boone, Brock. In lane 5 from Centerville, Dooley. In lane 6, also from Centerville, Paloma. And in lane 7 from Boone, Fitzsimmons.
So if you were watching the start there was quite a bit of movement on the blocks from lane 6 in particular, but a little bit from the others. And I'm almost surprised that the official didn't ask them to stand up because of how much movement there was. But two of these swimmers are exhibition. The Centerville swimmers in the middle are swimming for points, but it's an early heat, so that's possibly why the official didn't ask him to stand up. Plus, he's only official, and he's trying to watch, well, in some events, 10 lanes. It's a big job.
Event 4, girls, 50-yard freestyle, heat 2 of 5, Mr. Starter.
So again, we're seeing Boone and Centerville here.
Griffiths. In lane 2 from Centerville, Ruiz. In lane 3 from Centerville, Sturgis. Lane 4 from Boone, Hernandez. Lane 5 from Boone, Brock. Lane 6, Beerweiler. Lane 7, Haas. Lane 8, Whitney. Lane 9, Brock. And lane 10, Skinner.
Lane 4 with a 30.68, and this is heat 2. If she were swimming for points, she would come close to, she'd come close to being able to compete in the final heat.
Event 4, girls 50-yard freestyle, in heat 3 of 5, Mr. Starter. In lane 1, from Grinnell, senior Paige Miller. In lane 2, from Williamsburg, Conrad. Lane 3 from Williamsburg, Matt Cameron. Lane 4 from Williamsburg, Pryor. Lane 5 from Grinnell, Tilgus. Lane 6, Grinnell, Bolden. Lane 7 from Oskaloosa, Blossom. Lane 8 from Oskaloosa, Beeler. Lane 9 from Williamsburg, Trent, and lane 10 from Boone, Val.
So Paige is turning at the far wall right now. So you can see in lane 5, Grinnell swimmer, their time says 51 and 41. It's probably because they did not hit the touchpad hard enough in the first place. And so there is a button that the person behind the blocks pushes when the person finishes, and that person behind the blocks has a stopwatch. And so that button time will probably be their official time, unless, there's something I'm missing about it. And Page is finished. In this next heat, lane 4 and 9 are swimming for points. One Williamsburg swimmer and one Grinnell swimmer. The rest of them will be exhibition. So if it's not obvious, in the 50, the idea is to get your arms and your feet moving as fast as you can. And I should say hands, because there is some research out there that says that if we think of our smaller parts of our body and how fast they can move, that we'll be able to move them faster than if we think about our arms moving fast. So our hands and feet, get them around as fast as possible. Of course, you still want to hold on to the water. And you get 2 walls and just 2 lengths. And so if you can come off that block and off the wall with a great, in a sense, vertical leap, that can make a huge difference in your time.
Event 4, girls, 50-yard freestyle, heat 4 of 5. Lane 1, Ganger. Lane 2, Paragogo. Lane 3, Keller. Lane 4, Ballant. Lane 5, Herco. Lane 6, Walker. Lane 7, Ridnour. Lane 8, Montrose. Lane 9, Leisure. And Lane 10, Lawson.
These 50s just seem like it flies.
But I always, I think in the past I've always often made references to track and field compared to swimming, because maybe people are a bit more familiar with running versus being in the water. And I think it's always notable to point out to people that we don't have a 10-second event in swimming. At times, the 25 has been an event in a really rare meet where they just want to have something novel.
Event 4, girls, 50-yard freestyle, 5 of 5, Mr. Starter.
So lane 5 is Oski's star swimmer, it seems.
Lane 1, Switzer. Lane 2, Quinn. Lane 3, from Grinnell, Loud. Lane 4, Seek. Lane 5, Morrison. Lane 6, Walter. Lane 7, Hughes. Lane 8, Lutt. Lane 9, Ricciero. And lane 10, Bob Ross.
And Seek gives Morrison a run.
That a 10th?
Yeah, a 10th of a second. Way to go. That has to be a time that Caitlin will be pretty excited about. Over half a second off of her seed time for this meet.
All right,
exciting.
They are going to take a short break, and we'll transition over to the diving boards, which I said earlier. We have 4 divers on the evening, so we will take a break with them and switch our cameras over, and we'll be right back. You're watching Girls Swimming and Diving on the Tiger Sports live stream network.
It's more than just a game, it's a tradition, a community. Every Friday night tradition deserves a homemade favorite, Polly-I's Pizza. Stop in on 5th Ave in downtown Grinnell or order online at pollyi'sgrinnellia.com. Go Tigers!
Home. It's more than a place. It's where your next chapter begins. At RE/MAX Partners Realty, our experienced Grinnell team is committed to helping you buy, sell, and invest with confidence. From first-time home buyers to commercial properties, everything in between. We're with you every step of the way. Grinnell owned, Grinnell operated by Grinnell agents. RE/MAX Partners Realty, here to be your trusted real estate asset.
At Grinnell Motors, we care about more than just selling vehicles. We care about the people who drive them. You'll feel it in the way that we listen, keep it transparent, and show up for our community like neighbors should.
We care about doing business the right way.
We care about taking care of you after the sale.
We care about service you can trust.
We care about fixing it right the first time. We care about keeping business local.
We care you will feel the difference.
When change and uncertainty define the times, it's good to anchor to your roots, to honor and nurture them, to remember how it all started, and let that help build the future. Because we know a strong future is built on a solid past, and that past promises mean future follow-through. You can trust us to protect what you grow, build, own, and value. Trust in tomorrow with Grinnell Mutual.
Weldon Drywall is your local drywall professional, serving a 70-mile perimeter around Iowa City. They provide services to commercial builders, general contractors, and residential homeowners. Projects can include commercial build-outs, new construction for multi-family and residential homes, to remodeling projects such as your new addition to basement drywall projects, even down to the simplest 2x2 patch in your wall. Weldon Drywall is here for you. Check out our website at weldon-drywall.com and fill out our contact form for your free estimate today.
At Ramsey Weeks Insurance and Ramsey Weeks Real Estate, we know that the Tigers have a game plan every time they take the field or court. And at Ramsey Weeks, we have a plan for you too. Check out our website at ramseyweeks.com to get started. You can find all your insurance needs from residential to commercial, and if it is real estate you are looking for, you are one click away in the top menu. Here you can browse our residential and commercial listings. Don't forget, let Ramsey Weeks create a game plan for your new insurance or real estate purchase. Go Tigers!
Chloe Williams, 101B forward dive, pipe 1.3. Five, 4.5. Aubrey Holder, 103B, forward 1.5 somersault pipe, 1.7. Seven, 6.5, 6.5. Amaya Filipiak, 103B, forward 1.5 somersault pipe, 1.7. Six, 5.5, 6. Cora Kellogg, 103B, forward 1.5 somersault pipe, 1.7. 4.5, 5, 4.5. Starting the second round of diving, Chloe Williams, 51.22D, forward somersault, 1 twist free, 1.9. Three and a half, 3.5, 2.5. Aubrey Holder, 104C, forward double somersault tuck, 2.2. 6.5, 7.5, 7.5. Amaya Filipiak, 104C, forward double somersault tuck, 2.2. 5, 4.5, 5.5. Cora Kellogg, 104C, forward double somersault tuck, 2.2. 5.5, 6.5, 6.5. Round 3 of diving starts with Chloe Williams. 103B, forward 1.5 somersault pike, 1.7. 5.5, 5, 5.5. Aubrey Holder, 51.32D, forward 1.5 somersault, 1 twist free, 2.2. 7.5, 8, 7. Amaya Filipiak, 403C, inward 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.2. 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. Cora Kellogg, 51.22D, forward somersault, 1 twist free, 1.9. 4, 4.5, 5. Round 4 of diving with Chloe Williams, 302C, reverse somersault tuck, 1.6. 6 6, 6, 6.5. Aubrey Holder, 203C, back, 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.0. Seven, 7.5, 7.5. Amaya Philippic, 302B, reverse somersault pipe, 1.7. Six, 7, 5.5. Cora Kellogg, 403C, inward 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.2. Six, 5.5, 5. Round 5 of diving, Chloe Williams, 202A, back somersault straight, 1.7. Six, 6.5, 6. Aubrey Boulder, 403C, inward 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.2. Seven and a half, 7.5, 6.5. Amaya Philippic, 203C, back 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.0. Five, 4.5, 4.5. Cora Kellogg, 203C, back 1.5 somersault tuck, 2.0. 4, 4, 4. All right, let's hear it for our divers as we enter our sixth final round of diving. Chloe Williams, 402C, inward somersault tuck, 1.6. Seven, 6.5, 7. Aubrey Holder, 5223D, back somersault 1.5 twists, free, 2.3. 6.5, 6.5, 7. Amaya Filipiak, 52.23D, back somersault, 1.5 twists, free, 2.3. Five and a half, 6, 4.5. Cora Kellogg, 52.23D, back somersault, 1.5 twists, free, 2.3. Seven, 7.5, 6.5. All right, let's hear it for our divers one more time. We will take a 10-minute break. Swimmers, the pool is open.
So I wasn't, as usual, I wasn't doing the math during diving, but I would be shocked if Grinnell didn't come out first there. And then I'm guessing Grinnell was second or third, and then Boone was second and fourth, or third and fourth. Again, we won't get the math for that, but people can maybe get the results in the paper coming up, because they won't report those results here at the meet probably.
Okay. Well, so that concludes our key co-op session for session number 2, which would be the diving. And what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and take another break. We'll step outside and cool down a little bit, and then we'll be back.
Can I offer 2 notations?
Yes, you can.
So one, Aubrey Holder, who I think took first there in diving. I've probably shared last season that her athleticism extends to one of her other family members in the water, Houston Holder, who I'm pretty sure holds a combination of relay and individual event records at Grinnell High School still, a swimmer that came from Brooklyn to swim at Grinnell. And then I also think earlier I said Grinnell outswam Boone at the state meet, despite Boone placing better than they did at regionals. I should have said Grinnell outcompeted Boone at the state meet, because diving can have a significant influence in points at any meet, but in particular for Grinnell in recent history at the state meet.
All of them come together but the diving is a separate event, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
It goes, because
the points are all for the team. The diving points and swimming points come together for the team score, but yes, they do happen at different times. And we just another notation. Boys in high school don't have diving in Iowa. Only the girls do. And then one other notation, I looked it up, and Centerville did compete in Grinnell's regional meet. And I made him that mistake earlier. But the placing order was exactly like I explained it earlier. And I think something else that's notable, that your comment made me think of, is a reminder to everyone that there is only one class in swimming and diving in Iowa. And so at the regional meet, Grinnell is competing against Johnston. And then at the state meet, Grinnell is competing against Waukee. And so
the state meet's pretty incredible. So Blake, my son, he commentated day 1 of the girls' state meet last year. So watching the parade of teams come out, and it was triple line on both sides of the University of Iowa pool. Yeah. I mean, it was like, holy cats. And then they started wrapping them around just so they could get visibility. Yep. And some of them, I think you made the comment, it may be 4 girls, it may be 5. Some of them were 2 girls. Yeah. It all depends on what their qualifying was at the regional to get them into that state meet. So, all right, let's go ahead and we'll take a break. We'll hear a word from our sponsors. And like I said earlier, that concludes the key co-op session of diving. And we'll be right back with you in probably about 7 minutes. You've been watching Girls Swimming and Diving on the Tiger Sports Livestream Network.
This is a story about signs. It's also a story about people's experiences. The humble sign. They are everywhere. But signs are more than just a plaque on the wall, an arrow, or letters on a building exterior. Signs help you leave a legacy or start a new chapter in life. All those signs have to start somewhere, and that's where we come in. We are your trusted partner in everything signage and graphics.
At Mayflower Community, we offer a full continuum of care, from independent living in our beautiful historic neighborhood to assisted living, memory care assisted living, and skilled nursing care that meets you exactly where you are. But life here is about the experience. Whether it's enjoying a meal with friends in one of our dining spaces, staying active in the wellness center, or exploring our walking paths, there is always a way to connect. Come see why Mayflower is more than a residence. It's a community.
At MCG, we know the internet industry is viewed as, at best, slightly above terrible and at worst, complete. Sorry about the language, but look, MCG wants to change this. So we offer crazy fast internet at crazy low prices. No hidden fees, no fine print, and no intro pricing. Get 1 gig internet for just $67 a month or 2 gig for $99. And it's all backed by a local team who answers the phone when you call. So don't wait, dump your provider now and switch to MCG internet at mahaska.org.
When something goes wrong at home or on the job, who do you call? Charmer Inc. has you covered, from plumbing, heating and cooling, and electrical to water conditioners, generators, septic systems, radon, digging and trenching. With experienced professionals and a team ready to tackle the job, Charmweavers is your local source for keeping your home, farm, and business running right. Local, experienced, and ready to help. Call us today, 1-800-542-7980.
At B3 Technology in Grinnell, we make IT simple. Our team provides reliable managed IT services, cloud solutions, data backup, and network security so your home or business runs smoothly every day. With big city technology and small town customer service, B3 Technology has been helping Central Iowa stay connected and protected for decades. Call B3 Technology today at 641-236-9296 or visit b3tech.com.
Hey Tiger fans, Colton here at Wagon Wheels West in Grinnell, and today's game day boot is this men's Twisted X boot. This boot is going to be super comfortable with that cell stretch technology, while also being greatly durable if you have to go and work in the yard or you're out on the job all day. This is going to be the boot for you. But don't get it twisted. This boot is going to look wonderful under a nice pair of blue jeans if you got to go out on the town. And stop in, try it, and good luck, Tigers.
Grinnell Booster Club supports all Tiger athletics from the middle school all the way up to the high school through fundraising, membership drives, concession stand revenues at all the home events. There are many different ways you can get involved. One, through membership levels from a single, a family, even into the business. There are many attractive levels that you can be a part of this wonderful club. Your membership funds help support uniforms, warm-ups, summer speed camps, baseball and softball batting cages, and the list goes on. You want to be a part of a great group? Join the Grinnell Booster Club today.
It's more than just a game, it's a tradition, a community. Every Friday night tradition deserves a homemade favorite, Polly-I's Pizza. Stop in on 5th Ave in downtown Grinnell or order online at pollyi'sgrinnellia.com. Go Tigers!
Home. It's more than a place. It's where your next chapter begins. At RE/MAX Partners Realty, our experienced Grinnell team is committed to helping you buy, sell, and invest with confidence. From first-time home buyers to commercial properties, everything in between. We're with you every step of the way. Grinnell owned, Grinnell operated by Grinnell agents. RE/MAX Partners Realty, here to be your trusted real estate asset.
At Grinnell Motors, we care about more than just selling vehicles. We care about the people who drive them. You'll feel it in the way that we listen, keep it transparent, and show up for our community like neighbors should.
We care about doing business the right way.
We care about taking care of you after the sale.
We care about service you can trust.
We care about fixing it right the first time. We care about keeping business local.
We
got the 100 fly here. And in lane 4, we have a state meet returner.
Williamsburg, Maddie Wilkinson. Also from Williamsburg, in lane 2, Kinley Valent. In lane 3 for Boone, and Ashton Burkhart. In lane 4 for Boone, and Eagleby Howie. In lane 5 from Oskaloosa, Ellie Cross. In lane 6 from Grinnell, Lucy Lindbergh. In lane 7 from Grinnell, Zoe Rundall. In lane 8 from Boone, Harper Houston. And in lane 9 from Williamsburg, Kayla Reckheimer.
So like I was saying, in lane 4 is Avery Howie from Boone. She is a returner from the state meet. However, not in this event. Instead in the backstroke and the 50. And a lot of 50 sprinters swim the fly as well because it tends to take quite a bit of strength relative to many swimmers at the high school and lower levels. And you can see that she is really pulling ahead at the end despite it being fairly competitive in the first 50. We also heard quite a bit of enthusiasm from the announcer for lane 6, Lucy Lindbergh, because I think that's his daughter. So Avery was seated at 116, and she came in at 109. Of course, 116.00 is almost certainly a made-up time, which is totally allowable, just interesting. Lucy Lindbergh came in at 115.31, and she was seated at 115.21. So pretty good estimation if that came from the coach's guess. And a good swim.
Event 7, girls 100-yard freestyle. Heat 1 of 4, Mr. Starter.
So in this one, we have Centerville and Boone in the first heat, and we have 4 heats of the 100 free.
In lane 4, from Centerville, Adeline Swaby. In lane 5, from Boone, Sarah Newton. In lane 6, from Boone, Lily Luck.
For the first heat, lane 5 came off the wall pretty darn well. And she's gone 29.9. She's going to have a time that could have been quite competitive in maybe, well, even the final heat, which we saw that earlier from the Boone swimmer, I'm pretty sure. And, you know, she was entered, all 3 of these swimmers were entered with no time, and so that's why they're in the first heat. There will be some other no time swimmers in the next heat as well. It's just how the computer seeds them. Yes, she goes 102.3, and that will make her quite competitive in this event. She's not indicated as exhibition, so that's going to be something that the 4th heat swimmers are going to want to not necessarily think about while they're swimming, but it's notable that about 6 of them are going to have to really swim hard to outswim her.
Event 7, girls 100-yard freestyle. Heat 2 of 4, Mr. Starter.
So no Grinnell swimmers in this event either. Centerville, Boone, and Williamsburg.
In lane 2 for Boone, Bailey Brook. In lane 3 from Centerville, Katie Haas. In lane 4 from Boone, Lexi Bierwagen. In lane 5 from Williamsburg, Madeline Conrad. In lane 6 from Boone, Rebecca Diaz Arnaz. In lane 7 from Centerville, Andrea Ruiz. In lane 8 from Boone, Sophia Pineda. And in lane 9 from Boone, Emily Skinner.
So in this heat, lanes 3, 7, and 8 are swimming for points, and lane 5. The others are exhibition swimmers.
Then 7, girls, 100-yard freestyle, heat 3 of 4, Mr. Starter.
So lanes 6 and 7 are swimming for points in this heat. The rest are exhibition. They are both Williamsburg swimmers who are swimming for points in 6 and 7.
In lane 1, from Oskaloosa, Zaylen Clausen. In lane 2, from Williamsburg, Brooklyn Bodum. In lane 3, from Williamsburg, Aria State. In lane 4, from Oskaloosa, Greta Frost. In lane 5, from Williamsburg, Mackenzie Montress. In lane 6, from Williamsburg, Bridget Rittenauer. In lane 7, from Williamsburg, Michaela Keller. In lane 8, from Oskaloosa, Zava Lawson. And in lane 9, from Williamsburg, Sadie Ganger.
It was supposed to be a lane 10 swimmer according to the heat sheet, but they must have scratched from this event. As you can see, no Grinnell swimmers in this event, this heat either. We saw in the next heat, we have Caitlin Seek representing Grinnell with the fastest time for the team. And we saw her really shine in her last event, so we'll see how she goes up against Penelope Morrison, who is a returner from the state meet in the 50 free. Penelope placed 16th in the 53, scoring Oskies 1 point last year from the state meet, if I remember correctly.
Event 7, girls 100-yard freestyle, heat 4 4.
In lane 4 is Daphne Morrison, I would assume a relative of Penelope Morrison, also from Oskaloosa.
In lane 1, from Oskaloosa, Kennedy Quinn. In lane 2, from
Caitlin pulls out to a short lead off the start ahead of Penelope.
In lane 4,
and her walls are certainly stronger.
In lane 5, from Oskaloosa, Penelope.
But we have a bit of a surprise in Riley Klein from Oskaloosa in lane 7.
In lane 7,
but again, we see Caitlin with great walls, great streamline. And if I remember correctly, Caitlin has quite the endurance, and so she's going to hold him off on that last length. Wonderful technique, Caitlin. From up here, looked like a really tight streamline, which has made a huge difference relative to these Oski swimmers. Fantastic finish with a 57.54, about a second off of her seed time. And I'm guessing that she's pretty excited about that swim. We have Emily in lane 10, who the scoreboard is indicating a 1:14.05. I'm not sure if that is an accurate time based on how slow the split time came up, but it might be. And in lane 3, Macy.
They switched them already.
104.52 though. I'm pretty sure is her time, which I think she'd be pretty happy about. And now we have the longest event in high school swimming in Iowa, the 500 free. This is 20 lengths. At the far end of the pool, you will see people putting cards in the water. That's to tell the swimmer how many lengths they have done. Because frankly, I'll say that even counting the 200 can sometimes be confusing when you're going as hard as you can.
Oh, we're missing one lane counter here.
Yeah. Only one heat of the 500. And we have a returner from state, from Boone in this event, Aaliyah Carolus, if that's how you pronounce that name. But she is a returner from the 50 and the 100, swimming the 500 at this meet. Again, I suspected, according to the heat sheet, Boone's mixing stuff up to see how athletes can. The official is giving indication to the counters that they cannot turn their numbers until their athlete has flipped or touched the wall at the near end or the block end of the race. Being the only official here, he is responsible for making sure that people complete all the lengths, and he is relying probably on those people with the cards to help him make sure that everybody has done all 20 lengths. Of course, the computer is counting as well, but if somebody didn't touch the touchpad hard enough, it could miss a touch. The computer would indicate that based on times as you looked at them, but
Zylstra. Lane 2 from Boone, Lily Wright. In lane 3 from Oskaloosa, Joey Tacky. In lane 4 from Boone, Kylie Hughes. In lane 5 from Boone, Aaliyah Carolus. In lane 6 from Grinnell, Peyton Zylstra. In lane 7 from Oskaloosa, Nora Lamb. In lane 8 from Williamsburg, Shiloh Smith. In lane 9 from Grinnell, Tate Manat. And in lane 10 from Oskaloosa, Ruby Rendergast.
So the other reason that the official is probably wanting to make sure that the cards are counting correctly is when the first swimmer at this meet, when the first swimmer has turned for her last leg or is coming in to turn for her last lap, he will go over there and he will ring a bell as she's going through her turn to indicate that it is the last lap. You'll see at times the people with the counters moving the numbers in some fashion, oftentimes up and down, sometimes side to side, or maybe in other ways. Usually that's a signal to them that they have come up with. Almost always up and down is indicating to go faster or give more effort. Oftentimes side to side will indicate that you need to lengthen something out. Sometimes you'll see people putting cards in to the left or right on the lane to indicate that the swimmer needs to stop circle swimming, which can add a yard or two even, because especially in these lanes that are 9 feet wide, a yard or two to every lap. And that makes a big difference in 20 lengths of swimming. Or it may indicate that swim on this side of the lane because you could be drafting off the person that's next to you. But again, in a pool with 9 foot wide lanes and really good lane lines, the draft isn't going to be too helpful, especially at the speed that most of these girls are going. But Aaliyah in lane 5 is putting on quite a show for being, again, if I remember correctly, a 50 and 100 freestyler from the state meet last year. She is a Perry swimmer who now swims for Boone because Perry doesn't have a team, as I indicated earlier, for this season. So a big boon to Boone's team. We have Zylstra in lane 6, who is making a show for Grinnell, but looks like she's going to be racing for second or third here, since Aaliyah is a good 30, 40 yards ahead. It's this kind of event that not every swimmer, despite, it in club swimming or college swimming or whatever, it not being one of the toughest events. In high school swimming in Iowa, it is probably considered one of, if not the hardest event in the meet. And so not every swimmer is real eager to do it. And so this is a place where if you are willing to work hard, if you're willing to be uncomfortable, this is a place where you can say, hey, coach, put me in and score points for your team. Because there will be meets where not every point is earned. Points can be left on the table.
Surely, practicing-wise, you can't practice this you could practice one, but do they swim this more than once in a practice?
Some people do, yeah.
It just seems like pretty enduring if you're going to say, I'm going to swim this twice in 2 hours.
Right. Well, so I would say it would be rare in high school swimming in Iowa, but I certainly, when I first started swimming in high school, I was the distance swimmer for the team, or one of the distance swimmers for the team, and I remember a practice pretty early on. Mark Stanley, a Iowa High School Hall of Fame coach, who used to coach here at Grinnell, both the boys and the girls. I'm pretty sure it was a 5x500 for practice. And that was a bit of a shock to me because I certainly hadn't swam the 500 very many times when he gave that practice to me. And I was also doing it all alone while the rest of the team was doing other. That it does happen at times. But that convinces you that, like, this really isn't that hard. Doing it once is a lot easier. But, of course, you're doing it harder, and that's the hard part. So you heard that bell ring, and that's an indication that that athlete is doing the last lap. And you can see her cards at the end were red and being flashed up and down to encourage her to go faster. And she has finished in 5:35.12, a pretty great showing. She was seated at 5:40.00. Coach made a pretty good guess. And there's some of those swimmers out there and some of those teams where they go faster every time you put a number up for them. Peyton is trying to outswim lane 3. Another Ottumwa swimmer, or Oskaloosa swimmer. But Boone did go 1-2. Peyton comes in at 6:21. There's a lot of season left. A lot of time to improve. I've seen the Zylster family in the pool quite a bit outside of high school season and even at a pretty young age. When I go to swim myself, I'd see them here in the college pool or the outdoor pool in Grinnell, at the Grinnell Mutual Aquatic Center. And even when both those pools are closed here in Grinnell, we would run into each other at the Newton YMCA. And I'm always a proponent, and we can see it plenty in professional sports. Some of our greatest athletes in the MLB, in the NFL, NHL, they're multi-sport athletes. some of the top ones. And I'm always a proponent of multi-sport athletes. And I think every athlete should be at least a 2-sport athlete, if not a 4-sport athlete, especially at these small schools, even including Grinnell.
Let's hear it for our
But
500 swimmer.
at the same time, if you are swimming more than 2-3 months a year, like you do for your high school season, it's going to make an impact. But yeah, switch it up. Work those. Become more of an athlete. Become more athletic. And you will jump off the walls better. You will understand how to move your body better. It's important to swimming. 200-yard freestyle relay. Every athlete's doing a 50.
In lane 3 from Boone, Wright, Griffiths, Burkhart, Houston. Lane 4, Williamsburg, Conrad, State, Nakarum, out. Lane 5, Williamsburg, Wilkinson, Caragola, Ganger, Smith. Lane 6, Oskaloosa, Quinn, Clausen, Beeler. Lane 7, Boone, Val, Diaz Cardenas, Fitzsimmons, and Pineda. In lane 8, Boone, Ruck, and Long.
In lane 5 is Williamsburg's B relay. So they are swimming for points. Everybody else in this heat is exhibition.
While they're swimming that out, I just want to put my little plunk out there. So if everyone likes what they've been watching tonight, go ahead and hit the little thumbs up down there in the corner of the screen. Let us know that you like it. If you're a Grinnell fan, there's going to be 4 more swim meets that are going to be on the live stream. So you can hit that subscribe button and you'll be notified actually when every Grinnell event goes on live. So you can pick and choose on the swimming or football or volleyball, as those are the lineups for the fall. So thank you for joining us.
I'll make every effort to improve my Rowdy Gaines impression over this week.
Well, I didn't realize, Tim, so I made that schedule and I was looking at Bound, and there's actually, so we're the first, then there's the third, and then they have one the 10th, which I have that on my calendar. 10th, and then I saw the 29th. That was just added in the last X weeks because that wasn't on my schedule. And then the 6th. So the to be determined, we may actually throw in on the 29th too, but when we're trying to do this in volleyball, sometimes they fall on the same nights, and football games, which some people wonder, it's like football looks good. It's like we start setting up at noon on Friday for football games. There's a lot of work that goes into it to make it look good, and we appreciate everybody that tunes in to watch all of our events. Makes it pretty special for the kids that are swimming, the kids that are playing football, the kids that are playing volleyball, that they could go back and see it after the point, and grandparents far and near and away.
Well, and it makes it really accessible for them to go back and watch how they perform.
Event 9, girls 200-yard freestyle relay, E2-2, Mr. Starter.
So lanes 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. Could be a quick race here. Very competitive. You can see Boone in 4 and 7, and Grinnell in 6, and Oski in 5.
Lane 1, Grinnell, Leisure, Tilius, Vulcan. Lane 2, Oskaloosa, Flynn, Frost, Johnson, Sizzle. Lane 3, Boone, Lutt, Platt, Hauser, and Abbott. Lane 4, Boone, and Abbott, Cox, Hughes, Carlos. Lane 5, Oskaloosa, Flynn, Frost, Walter, Morrison. Lane 6, Grinnell, Mahoning, Simpson, Camp, Lindbergh, Loud. Lane 7, Boone, Hughes, Houston, Hoot, Howie. Lane 8, Grinnell, Rundall, Manat, Lindbergh, Zylstra. Lane 9, Williamsburg, Bellin, Ringiero, O'Connell, Gabriel, and Cifra. And lane 10, Centerville, Swaby, Whitney, Dooley, and Galoma.
So Avery, the first-year swimmer on the team, gave him a great lead. She has a great start from my vantage point up here, and it looks like Ruby performed another great race here and brought them a little bit further out ahead, which is a bit of a surprise. We'll see how this continues to play out. Not that Ruby was a surprise. It's just a surprise that Grinnell is leading by so much right now. Oski came back by 3/10 there, but they are still a full body length ahead, Grinnell is. Great swim by Lucy Lindberg. Oh, it is coming. It's becoming very close, and this is why we see Penelope Morrison of Oski, the returner from the state meet, great sprinter, and Grinnell gets out-touched by 0.08 of a second.
Wow.
Macy made a great effort there.
Oski came off the wall and just had a nice launch off that wall that just made that half a length on her up.
Penelope is quite the sprinter. So one really notable thing about that race, and I'm pretty sure Avery stands out amongst everyone that I've noticed here in the meet, is when she starts, instead of her arms shooting straight forward, they swing out and around, and that's a pretty rare thing in swimming, even still today. But there is
take a 5-minute break. Swimmers, the pool. It's open.
There is some evidence that much like you swing your arms in the long jump in order to get more movement through the air that way, that if we swing our arms up and around, it helps drive our bodies up and out. Again, some evidence. It's not absolutely clear yet.
All right, they're going to take a 5-minute break, and we're just going to go ahead and give a recognition of our sponsors: Poly Ice Pizza, Remax Realty Partners, Grinnell Mutual, Grinnell Motors, Weldon Drywall, Ramsey Weeks Insurance and Real Estate, Latitude Signage and Design, Mayflower Community Homes, Alaska Communications Group, Sean Weber's Inc. in Toledo, B3 Technology, and Wagon Wheels West, Prairie Lakes Church, Grinnell, Booster Club. Key Co-op is our session sponsor. Baker Stewart is our scoreboard sponsor. Grinnell Firestone, Corey Hall Photography, S&S Electric, Van Tomey Concrete and Landscape, and the Strand Theater. So thank you to all those people for sponsoring the Tiger Sports Live Stream Network for our swimming production. I'm Dan Walker. He's Tim Hammond. So we are going to take our 2-minute break, and we'll just be quiet for a few minutes and let you watch the gals in the pool doing some laps. All right. Welcome back to the last session of the
Event 10. Girls, 100
Key
yard
Co-op swimming
backstroke.
session. So
One,
thank you to Key
two.
Co-op again.
Mr. Starter.
And we'll get lined up for our last part of the evening here.
100 backstroke. Seems like they need to do something with the timing system.
Hopefully the light shutting off didn't do something.
No. You just saw a bunch of ads that are supporting this channel, which is a free service to all of you. I want to encourage you to not only visit those places, but tell them where you heard about it. Because this is a free service that we all get to enjoy. And part of the reason it's free is because all of these advertisers that support it.
And this year we actually have the most sponsors we've ever had. So big thank you again going out the door to that.
This first heat, Grinnell is in lane 5.
In lane 4, from Centerville, Juliana Sturz. In lane 5, from Grinnell, Rosie Leisure. And in lane 6, from Oskaloosa, Raya Walker.
So in backstroke, if we are watching Rosie, we can, when her hands are underwater, we can see a little bit of white water right as where her hands are traveling. And so that means that she's not actually getting as much water in her palm and along her forearm as she could otherwise. So a little bit more rotation with every stroke and trying to put that hand a little bit deeper in the water could make a big difference. And I mean, you can see that in lane 4 as well. That's happening. Whereas in lane 6, from up here, it looks like she's swimming with a pretty straight arm, which, she's getting her hands deeper in the water, but that is generally thought to be a weaker stroke unless you just have incredibly strong arms. But to swim with a straight arm for 100, that's pretty difficult.
Must have one timing box aired.
Yeah, that means that the person pushing the button behind the block hit the button before she hit the pad. And so the person in the meet management room is figuring out which time is the most accurate. Or based on the time that just showed up, yeah. No, it has to be what I said first.
Event 10, girls 100 yard backstroke. Heat 2-2. Mr. Starter.
Grinnell is in lane 8. We saw quite a showing in backstroke by Ruby earlier, and I'm curious what we'll see here. That is the only swimmer in backstroke for Grinnell, and I imagine that's why we're seeing Ruby do it a little bit more this meet than we may have seen her last season.
In lane 1 from Williamsburg, Michaela Karagoba. In lane 2 from Williamsburg, Misha Briviero. In lane 3 from Boone, Callie Hernandez. In lane 4 from Boone, Claire Denavin. In lane 5 from Oskaloosa, Ella Holter. In 6 from Oskaloosa, Daphne Morrison. In lane 7 from Boone, Morgan Cox. In lane 8 from Grinnell, Ruby Simpson Campy. And in lane 9 from Williamsburg, Kayla Reckheimer.
You talked earlier about Boone and Perry. Boone has just had so much consistency through the night of seeing Boone in that, top 1 through 4, 1 through 5 position.
Yep.
Or multiples there, I should say.
Yep, right. So Ruby was seated with a 1:15.14. It looks like she's going to come in close to that. Where I was talking about that white water where your hands are, and we're not seeing it throughout the whole stroke of Ruby's, but we're seeing it right at the peak transition of her power phase into her finish. And so that means that she is rotating her hip up slightly earlier than what she would want to otherwise. And so, letting her hip stay a little bit deeper in the water until her hand gets just past that peak transition. And flipping that hand and her hip at the same time.
Mr. Starter.
No Grinnell swimmers in the first heat of the 100 breaststroke.
Lane 4 from Williamsburg, McKenna Trimby. Lane 5 from Oskaloosa,
So,
Maddie
like
Quinn.
for a swimmer to kind of analyze themselves, I mean, do they videotape them or is this like a point where they could actually go back and review this and actually see what their stroke looks like?
Ideally, you would be videoing from like right on top of them or even underwater, because what we can see from above the water is informative. What we can see from below the water is almost always significantly more informative.
So, like if we were hooked up to the college's camera that looks down and out, and I think it even looks in this way, so it's 3 cameras that are set up. That gives them a little bit more of a view. Like if they turn it on in practice, they could say, "This is what you're doing."
Yeah, but actually, the team has an underwater camera, so they would actually just take that camera out. And like during practice, I would use my cell phone, and then I can just turn it right around to them and show them there in the moment. I can text it or email it to them or Dropbox it to them, and they can review it. I can put notes in there for them, that kind of stuff. But yeah, any information can be helpful. I mean, like what we're seeing right here, they can go back on YouTube and see how far they're making it off the wall. When they're breathing, counting their breaths, counting their strokes, how close they're getting, not only how far they're getting off the wall, but like how many kicks are they taking underwater before they break out. How smooth is their breakout? How smooth is their entry from their dive? How well timed is their relay exchange? Yeah, there's certainly things that you can get from any video. All right. This is one of the events that I was talking about from the very beginning of the meet. Avery, that first-year swimmer for Grinnell. This might be considered her best event, the 100 breaststroke. So I expect that she is going to outshine everyone in this heat by a long way.
Lane 2 from Williamsburg, Ruby Sikra. Lane 3 from Boone, Quinn Houston. Lane 4 from Oskaloosa, Jolie Sizzle. Lane 5 from Grinnell, Avery Bahonic. Lane 6 from Grinnell, Anna Lindbergh. Lane 7 from Boone, Aaliyah Carrollers. Lane 8 from Williamsburg, Elliot Pryor. And lane 9 from Boone, Anthea Law.
Making up a little time there.
Yes, and my greatest mistake, though, might have been not noticing that Aaliyah Carolus is swimming in lane 7, who I've said before was a state meet swimmer, but she was swimming in the 50 and the 100. And so you can see when Aaliyah comes off the wall, she is really powerful off the wall, which makes sense for a sprinter. But when we watch Avery swimming, Avery outswims her in breaststroke quite well. And as we get to the last bit of 100, it is Avery that is taking it home. And I also want to commend Anna Lindbergh on a fantastic swim, going 1:15 herself, just below what her seed time was for this meet. And it was obvious that, to my eyes, that Anna was ready to race. From the starter calling them down. She grabbed that block like she was ready to take it to him.
which in that case, as you've said before, it's your start, what your approach is into the pool. So if you could get a good dive in and make that distance up, and then touching off each end, how far you could kick to get to the middle, then you could actually goes into talent of swimming, whatever you're swimming.
Yeah. And not that we probably have to think about it in Iowa girls swimming generally, or certainly at this meet, but in breaststroke, you see as people are swimming, there are 2 yellow markers on the lane lines. And each of them is 15 meters from the other wall. And so you cannot go underwater off the wall or the start or whatever past those yellow markers, except in breaststroke. If you have a really good breakout, a really good pull out in breaststroke, you are allowed to go past the yellow underwater.
Is that yellow peripheral? Is there something underneath that they're seeing too?
In this pool, there are actually little dashes, black dashes along the lane lines that are on the bottom of the pool. So
it gives them a little clue they need to be up before.
Yep.
Because basically it looks like.
But ideally, much like in, baseball or football or whatever, like you need to have some spatial awareness in swimming. There isn't as much going on around you, but you need to have some spatial awareness. You need to know that, like, I have traveled down the pool far enough and that I need to be breaking out before I get to those markers. And sometimes you can do that with stroke counts or whatever. But in breaststroke, if you're one who, is, going clear down the pool, again, you don't have to break out before that 15-meter mark, but you do want to still have a general awareness of where you are in the pool. In backstroke, it's even harder because you cannot see the bottom of the pool. In backstroke, if you're kicking on your back at an angle, you can have a slightly better viewpoint, but frankly, you shouldn't be thinking about that, trying to see where you are. You should have an instinct, a sense of spatially where you are in the pool. And, you spend enough time in the pool in practice, but especially in races, and that becomes innate in most of us. So no Grinnell swimmers relays in this heat. The next heat, it is going to be quite the race probably between Grinnell and Oskaloosa. And then, maybe Boone will pull out some surprise because their coach has entered both their their B and C relays at 4:08:00, which means that, those are, I'm sure he's like trying to estimate accurately, but who knows what they could come out of there with. And Oski is entered at 4:02:00, which means that, a pretty good indication that their coach is, making a guess, which is very reasonable. But as we've noted, Boone has shown up in many races here, and so 2 relays listed at 4:08:00. One or both could be a surprise.
Well, and I don't know how many kids or girls that Perry had, but you have that multiplier of adding some girls that swam. If I remember last year, Perry came to one of our meets.
Yeah,
that they swam pretty well.
Yeah.
So you have that extra talent.
So last year, Boone had 2 athletes at the state meet from Boone. Perry had 2 athletes at the state meet. And now those 2 Perry athletes swim at Boone, have teamed up with those 2 Boone athletes. And so I suspect that they are going to make a showing at the state meet much stronger than what they did last year, because they actually had very young athletes on their state relays in all 3 relays at the state meet last year. And so all those people are returning, addition of Perry's state returners and their other swimmers from Perry. Yeah, they'll be strong, no doubt. So this is Centerville's A relay, and then Oski and Williamsburg's B relays. I commend the teammates at the end of the pool cheering on their fellow teammates. All right, here we go. Last event. There's some sort of discussion with the official talking to the relay in lane 5. I assume, or I shouldn't assume, that means that there's a possibility of a disqualification. I did not see his arm go up. I may have just missed it.
400-yard freestyle relay, heat 2, Mr. Starter.
And they did not get a place according to the scoreboard, so they must have been disqualified.
In lane 1, from Good, and T.S. Cardenas, Fitzsimmons, Brock, and Earwagon.
As a Grinnell alum.
Not it, right, Long, Brock. In lane 3, from Grinnell, Zylstra, Rundgall, Winnett, and Lindbergh. And in lane 4, from Good, Houston, Burkhart, Hoot, and Howie. In lane 5, from Grinnell, Lindbergh, Camp, Zylstra, Seed. In lane 6 from Oskaloosa, Morrison, Lamb, Walter, and Morrison. In lane 7 from Boone, Hauser, Clapp, Hughes, and Hernandez. In lane 8 from Boone, Griffiths, Cox, Hughes, and an outlet. In lane 9 from Williamsburg, Reckenheimer, Kirko, Smith, and O'Connell Gabriel. And in lane 10 from Boone, Val, Skinner, Pineda, and Brook.
So as I was saying, as a Grinnell alum, I hate to admit it, but if the official saw what I saw, there's a high likelihood that Grinnell could be disqualified. Lucy moved before the starter hit his button. But there's also being the only official watching 10 lanes, I'd say there's a good chance that he didn't notice it. But, you know, that's where an official's eyes might be, is right in the middle of the pool, because that's where significant points are going to be made. And so to watch them is reasonable.
Yeah, and this event's a big lane because you actually have somebody right beside you. Mm-hmm. So you're trying to, you know, watch them all go at the same time.
And you have to give the benefit of the doubt to the swimmer. That is in the rule book, or at least the rule book that I last remember it. And so, you know, being the only official, is he absolutely certain without a doubt that she jumped? And I'm not even saying that it, you know, it was to her advantage, but there was movement and you just can't move. But Grinnell is performing well here. Coming off that wall, we don't want to get a big breath. Getting air is not terrible, but we can't let it interrupt the flow of our stroke.
Boone again is just, I mean, they just steadily work themselves back up.
Yep.
They're in lane 7. She is just, that whole team is just incrementally one link after another.
Yep. Anybody that watches Katie Ledecky swim, one of the greatest swimmers of all time, will see that she is just almost breathing constantly these days. I mean, from even some, I mean, I'm pretty sure I remember her even breathing on her breakout stroke from a start. And so, breathing is not a bad thing, as we used to think of it being in swimming. Air is necessary for our muscles to perform at a high level. But we, as swimmers, can't let it interrupt our stroke. And so we got to sneak in those breaths. And Boone is just taking off now in this event. Like I said, 4:08. Who knows what it was going to come.
Well, and like you said, so many different methodologies of breathing. When you look at the Boone swimmer that's in 7, she's every other paddle, but then the one that's in lane 8, she's about 3 strokes and then she takes a breath.
Yeah. So if you're breathing every stroke, meaning like every stroke cycle, you're always going to be breathing to one side. And then the one that you're talking about in Boone, what I was just watching in lane 8 was she was taking a breath, 2 breaths in a row, then she was going 4 strokes, taking a breath, then 2 breaths in a row, then taking 4 strokes in a breath. So if you're breathing every 3 strokes, you would breathe on the right ones, and then on the left, and then on the right, and then on the left, which is a great strategy, especially if you're in a tight race and you need to see people on both sides of you. But you're going to get more air if you always breathe to one side in a race, but then you aren't seeing the people that are swimming on the other side of you. Not that you should be paying attention to the people swimming next to you, but if you're worried about winning, if you're worried about points, and you want that motivation, that might be a good choice. There seems to be some confusion on the clock about times and splits, I'm pretty sure. Because I don't think Oski had a 1:00 split on their last 50. They must not have touched the pad very well. But a great meet.
Congratulations.
Some entertaining swimming.
For our meet, we will have the final scores in 1 minute.
So as they're getting that final scores in 1 minute, let's say thank you to our sponsors. Well, that's less than a minute.
Centerville High School. In 4th place with 111, Williamsburg. In 3rd place with 242, Oskaloosa. In 2nd place with 282 points, your Grinnell High School. And in 1st place with 339 points, Boone. Thanks to all our volunteers. Everyone drive home safely.
So as we mentioned, Boone putting themselves in the position with multiple people swimming, having multiple points brought in at different positions. Didn't necessarily always have to be first place.
No.
But 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, or even in the 5th, you're getting points, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. 2, 3, and 4. If you go 2, 3, 4 or 2, 3, 5, you're going to outscore 1. And so, in the backstroke, Grinnell only had 1 swimmer competing. And so, that's going to really set us back when Boone has 1, 2, 3 scoring. Sorry, Grinnell had 2 swimmers. Sorry, there was only 1 swimmer in the second heat. And then similarly in the 100 breaststroke, Grinnell had 2 very competitive swimmers in the breaststroke. But Boone had 3 who, didn't necessarily outswim Grinnell's 2, but those 3 swimmers
made all the difference in the world.
Can add up.
So, all right. Well, thank you for everyone that's joining us on the live stream. Like I said earlier, if you like what you've seen tonight, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. I want to thank Tim Hammond. Thank you for your expertise. I seem to always get a little bit smarter, and I walk out here thinking that I've learned something. And I go home and I tell Lori, and she goes, No, you still don't really learn anything. She said you may speak a little bit more educated, but you still need some more work. But thank you, Tim, for joining us tonight. And let's give a shout out to those sponsors: Poly Ice Pizza, Remax Realty Partners, Grinnell Motors, Grinnell Mutual, Weldon Drywall, Ramsey Weeks Insurance and Real Estate, Latitude Signage and Design, Mayflower Community Homes, Basket Communications Group, Sharm Weber's up in Toledo, Iowa, B3 Technology, Wagon Wheels West, Prairie Lakes Church, Grinnell Boosters, Key Co-op for our session sponsor, Baker Starrett sponsors our scoreboard, and then following out the rest of our business cards, Grinnell Firestone, Coryell Photography, S&S Electric, Van Tome Concrete and Landscaping, and last but not least, the Strand Theater. So thank you to all those people that help make this come to you free. We hope you enjoy tonight's production, and I want to say thank you for joining us. I'm Dan Walker. He's Tim Hammond. Tim, any last thoughts before we leave?
Thank you to all the parents and other volunteers that make youth sports possible.
And it's a warm one here in the Grinnell Natatorium, so we're going to break down and go find some air conditioning. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
This live stream is a copyright of the Tiger Sports Livestream Network. Reproduction or distribution of this live stream without permission of the Tiger Sports Livestream Network is a violation of the law.